So today is Thanksgiving, and this is one of the most important holidays in America. And there's been a lot of discussion and controversy about the origin story of this holiday, but I don't want to get into that. I leave that up to the historians and the mythbusters. And I feel that regardless of what really happened in Plymouth back in the early 17th century, this day has been and still is a day when families get together to enjoy a nice meal and express gratitude and love for each other and also appreciation for the good things they have in life. And it's also a day when people volunteer to prepare meals and offer meals to those who are homeless and don't have families that they can be with on this day. So it's a time of a lot of giving and love and kindness. So, giving thanks or feeling gratitude is a theme that's very much part of Buddhist teachings and Buddhist practice. So, for example, we find it in the meditation on the precious human life, where we contemplate our good fortune to have a human life with all the ideal conditions to learn and practice the Dharma. And so it makes us look at the good fortune we have, having resources, food, and so forth, but more importantly, the chance to learn the Dharma and follow the path to enlightenment. So it's a way of bringing up gratitude in our mind. And it's also there in the practices of reliance on our spiritual teachers and also refuge in the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So there we also generate gratitude towards our teachers and the three jewels for their kindness in teaching us and guiding us, so we can be free of our suffering and the causes of suffering and attain the happiness that we're all searching for. But the practice where we probably find the most extensive cultivation of gratitude is in the meditation on the kindness of others, which is one of the best ways to increase our love and compassion for other beings, even those we usually don't pay much attention to, like the people who deliver our mail or fix our cars. So they deserve love too. They're doing a lot for us. And also even those we find really difficult to love, like corrupt politicians and business people, terrorists, rapists, and so on. So there's also ways we can cultivate love for them by contemplating, well, maybe not right now they're acting in a kind way, but in other times they have. And they serve as objects for our practice to help us overcome anger and hatred and cultivate more patience and love. So they help us too. But yeah, in general, that meditation involves contemplating how everything that we have, everything we use, everything we enjoy comes to us from others. Our food, clothes, cars, homes, all the things that make life comfortable. It's other people and other beings that provide these things to us, as also and also the raw materials that these things are made from. So we're very much dependent on others, and we can expand on that and see ways in which we are dependent on all sentient beings. So that really opens our heart to feel love and gratitude and the wish to repay their kindness. And also, for those of us who aspire to attain enlightenment, to be able to fulfill that aspiration, we need others, because enlightenment is impossible without other beings. They are the objects towards whom we cultivate love and compassion, and we need those qualities to reach enlightenment. And also to practice giving and ethics and patience, we need other beings as objects for those practices. So without the existence of other beings, including those we find challenging, we wouldn't be able to create the causes for enlightenment. And without creating the causes, enlightenment doesn't happen, doesn't exist. So then, connecting this theme of Thanksgiving with the monastic training that we're in the middle of, I'd just like to mention a few things that I feel very grateful for. First of all, for the many wonderful, wise, and compassionate teachers that I've had the good fortune to meet and learn the Dharma from, and also to take refuge in precepts, because the precepts that we have that are the basis of our monastic life have to be received from others. We can't just take them on our own. We have to receive them from someone else, qualified teacher, who in turn received them from someone, who received them from someone, and so on, back to the Buddha. So there's been this unbroken, continuous transmission of these precepts all the way from the Buddha to the present day. And so we're grateful. We're very much dependent on all of those people who kept these precepts alive so that we can take them and keep them and live as monastics. I also feel grateful to all the spiritual friends, both monastic and lay, whose support I've relied on all these years to be able to continue practicing and holding precepts, even when the going gets tough. And right now I'm very grateful to be part of the Abbey community. So I think most of the time in my monastic career, most of the time I have lived on my own. There's only been a couple of times when I would live in a community for maybe 2 or 3 years at a time. And in some ways I like living alone. You can make your own schedule. And I find you can also get a lot done because you don't have so many distractions, being with people, talking to people, and so on. But on the other hand, there are, the downside. So it can be lonely. We do need to have other people that we connect with, relate to, and it's very helpful to have monastics to share our life with. And also sometimes when you're on your own, your energy to practice can kind of get low. And so it's really helpful to have other people around you who are full of energy, full of enthusiasm, and that kind of lifts you up as well. And also it's harder to work on qualities like loving kindness and compassion and patience. So we need other people around us to be able to develop those qualities and perfect those qualities. And for me personally, I have a long way to go to be really patient. For example, I sometimes get irritated with the really small things like the noises people make when they're eating. And when you live alone, you don't have the chance to recognize that that's still an issue in your mind. Something you need to work on. And recently I've been noticing that I can get irritated when people don't do things the right way. Like, oh, that person isn't doing what they're supposed to do, or she's doing it the wrong way. Doesn't she know the right way of doing it? And of course, the right way is my way, the way that fits my mind and seems to be the best way to me. So again, it's helpful to notice that that's something I need to work on. I have an issue with that. And I really like the offering service text that we recite here in the Abbey every morning that talks about the need to accept that there are different ways of doing things and to be tolerant of those rather than attached to my way. And it also helps when we study philosophy in Tibetan Buddhism, where we learn that one master explains things one way and other masters explain things in other ways, and there isn't always a right way. And so we're encouraged to think for ourselves, investigate things, and determine what makes the most sense, but also to be open to and accepting of other points of view rather than, this is the right way. So I think it's really wonderful that there's at least one day in the year when Americans feel grateful for the good things in their life. But better still is to make this a practice that we do more often, every day, ideally. And here in the Abbey, we do that. We have daily recitations in which we remember the kindness of others, such as our teachers and those who support our needs and so on. So let's use this day to strengthen and energize ourselves to do this practice of giving thanks, feeling appreciation and gratitude for all the many people and beings that we rely on for everything in our life.